The PFL versus Bellator collaboration card where the champions of the PFL and the champions of Bellator fight against each other happens in about a month, and nobody is talking about it. There could be an argument to be made that this is going to be one of the biggest cards of the year in the world of MMA, and nobody cares. I'm seeing nobody talk about this on Twitter aside from journalists and I guess PFL super fans. I'm seeing nobody post about this on Instagram. I'm seeing absolutely no traction from this on YouTube either. You go to PFL MMA's page and you just search up PFL MMA on YouTube. 11,000 views is what the press conference that they did for this event did. 11,000 views, and this was about a day or two ago as me recording this video on a YouTube channel with 700,000 subscribers on a card that has Thiago Santos versus Yoel Romero on it. A card that has Patricio Pitbull on it. Johnny Eblin's a pretty big name, and so is Kasanganai. Ryan Bader is a pretty big star for Bellator. AJ McKee for Bellator is a massive star for them, and Clarissa Shields on the card. I mean, this is a massive, massive card, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just crazy to me that this is doing no numbers whatsoever, because this is a little bit of a concern, as PFL just made a massive acquisition for Bellator. I'm confident it would have been in the multi-millions of dollars, of course, to acquire Bellator and acquire their roster. And they're going to be celebrating that by doing what could be one of the biggest cards of 2024. One of the biggest cards in history, just because it's two promotions. Champions versus champions. And nobody cares, man. If it's not the UFC, people just don't want to watch. And it's really, really crazy that that's happening right now, because it just kind of proves how big the UFC monopoly really is in the game. And I guess I probably shouldn't put it like that. I'm going to use that as an adjective just to kind of save myself. But what has happened is the UFC really has no competition right now. You know, the UFC is really up at the top. You know, the UFC 297 press conference, I believe, got 600,000 views. The vlog series that they did got 500,000 views. The weigh-in highlights got 75,000 views. To go into a more recent example, consider this. The PFL press conference got 11,000 views. They just did a join Drew Dober front row as he watched the lightweight contenders battle in Austin. 10,000 views in 10 hours. I mean, to the UFC, that's a much less important video than a press conference, right? Like, this is absolutely insane, the numbers that the UFC is pulling compared to the PFL. And I did want to talk about this card because it is huge, but nobody cares. And I feel like I've got some good reasons that I don't think PFL is going to work, man. The PFL has the money, though. They're doing this card in Saudi Arabia. They're probably getting a lot of money from Saudi Arabia to host this card. They've got fighters from Saudi Arabia. I believe there's Saudi investors in the promotion as well, which will obviously help because they have a lot more money than me. I'll put it that way. But either way, I mean, you've got Renan Ferreira maybe against Ryan Bader, which is a big fight, you know, champion versus champion at heavyweight. Kasanganai recently become a massive name, won the $1 million with the PFL at 205, coming down to 185. Former UFC fighter. Johnny Eblin, one of the biggest names outside of the UFC right now. Jesus Pinedo just overcome all the odds, become the PFL champion, and now he's taking on Patricio Pitbull, one of the winningest fighters in Bellator history, one of the greatest fighters to never fight in the UFC. In fact, a lot of people could put Patricio Pitbull in the greatest of all time list. He's a two-time, weight class champion in Bellator. He recently did just compete for a third title down at 135 pounds. You definitely could put Patricio Pitbull in a greatest of all time list for sure. Bruno Capoloza versus Vadim Nemkov, a banger at heavyweight. Thiago Santos versus Yoel Romero. Do I need to say much more? Both are pretty big names. Yoel Romero, I guess maybe at this point, might draw more eyes than Thiago Santos, but either way, that's an insane matchup to have in 2024. That should get the people talking. Collard versus McKee is guaranteed to be a war. Fight of the night contender right there, and just nobody cares. Ray Cooper III versus Jason Jackson. It's there. Gabriel Alves Braga versus Aaron Pico. It's a big fight. It's there. Pico should be like minus 1,000. Clarissa Shields is on the card, you know. I guess people are calling her one of the greatest women's boxers of all time. She's in MMA right now. I'm sure she's got followings from MMA and boxing. Abdullah Al-Qatani is a guy from Saudi Arabia that Bellator's trying to build up, and they've got a fighter from India on there, and people from India love to back their fighters, man, so that should get a bit of views. Biagio Ali Walsh, Muhammad Ali's grandson, is allegedly, this could be an amateur fight, but it looks like it's pro, is apparently making his professional debut on this card. That's massive. Biagio Ali Walsh, Muhammad Ali's grandson, is making his pro debut on this card. And then they've got another amateur matchup with a fighter from Saudi Arabia, of course, on the card. This is a big one. Nobody cares. Why do you think nobody cares? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll just run down some quick picks. I will, of course, do a breakdown, a full card breakdown, closer to the time. Right now, I don't even know what I'm leaning in the main event. I'm just going to lean Beta for now. Pretty confident in Eblin. Leaning Pitbull, but he's been on a skid recently. Pretty confident in Nemkov. Gonna lean Santos, I guess, against Ramiro. I mean, Ramiro must be almost 47 years old. I don't know. I feel like Ramiro probably just wins. I'm gonna lean Santos for now, though. Let me know if I'm tripping in the comments below. Gonna lean AJ McKee, but I could see Collard getting it done. Relatively confident Jason Jackson gets it done. Very confident Aaron Pico gets it done. I've probably seen a Kelsey dos Santos fight. I'm pretty sure she's fought in the PFL before. Okay, I've got no idea who Kelsey dos Santos is. I'm not going to pretend like I know who she is. I'll just pick Clarissa Shields. I'm sure Abdullah Al-Qatani is going to win. I'm sure Biagio Ali Walsh is going to win. And I'm sure Malik Basahal is going to win. Those opponents are probably handpicked for those three fighters to win. And probably the same with Clarissa Shields. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.